Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. You might be saying, well, we've seen this dog before. That's true. She has been on the show several times, but Asia is special to everyone here. I think Tammy has a special bond with Asia. And so she hasn't been adopted yet, so we're going to keep promoting her and keep making sure that people are aware. If she's not the right dog for you, then tell your friends. Maybe Asia might be the type of pet that they are looking for. Asia came to us as part of a cruelty case. She was suffering from neglect. She was very underweight when she came in, and as you can see, that's no longer a problem for Asia. But what she does have issues with is just being under-socialized, being very fearful of new places, of new people. So we, here as a staff and as a group of volunteers, have been working to condition Asia to new things so that she can be more adoptable. She's actually been with us since November of 2017, and we're hoping to be able to give her the skills that she needs to be part of a loving family. Asia's about 5 to 6 years old. She's a mixed breed dog. It's anybody's guess as to what all is in there. She does have, in addition to just those basic things that she needs to work on as far as socialization, she does have some medical issues. She has hip dysplasia, which, as you can see, doesn't really prevent her from doing what she wants to do, but it is a concern that an adopter would have to take on. And then, unfortunately, her tail was docked too short. So sometimes she can have some, it's almost like a phantom nerve pain, and she will jump and yelp a little bit, and then she'll, go on her way. So those are things that creep up for her, and just monitoring her diet, because she has, she's in that transitional place where she was used to not having food, and now she's getting food. So she's eating a little bit more because that resource wasn't always there for her. She's going to be adopted through our puppy process, which means we'll take 4 applications for her and then choose the best fit. And she is also, because of the way in which she came to us, required to have a home visit for that potential adopter. Because she is a senior, she will go home for a reduced adoption fee. She'll get $20 off, making her $72.50. If you are interested in getting more information about Asia, give us a call. The number here is 301-600-1546, and we can put you in touch with a staff member who can give you more details and also schedule that appointment to meet with her. Our next guest is Dakota, and she is a Siberian Husky. She is pretty much still a puppy. She's a 1.5 years old, but she is full of energy, and Huskies typically can be a little harder to train, harder to housebreak. So it's really important that you understand what you're getting into with a Husky, and it's beneficial if you have that experience, which is why we would prefer to send Dakota here to a home that has Husky experience. We're also only sending her to a home where there are older children. We're looking for really 13, I believe, and up. People are like, well, why is that? Well, she's a high energy dog. She can jump up. She doesn't really have a lot of manners. Some people have noticed some issues with guarding her toys. So we just want to make sure that we're sending her to a home where she's going to be safe, and then the people in the home are going to be safe as well. And that's not to say that she's a bad dog, but we just want to make sure that we're sending her to a home where she's not going to pull some kids or jump up on them and knock them down, that they understand her body language so that they know not to take something, out of her mouth maybe. So there's a lot of factors involved with that. We're also adopting her through our puppy process. Even though she's an adult dog, we are taking 4 applications for her on that extended application that asks more questions, and then we'll choose the best home for the dog. We want to make sure that we're going to set her up for success and that she's not going to come back to us. Her previous owners relinquished her because they said they couldn't handle her energy level. So if you're getting a dog like Dakota, you really want to make sure that you have the time to commit to making sure that they get to run around and exercise and play, and you're going on walks and runs and hikes and all of that type of stuff. And you're also going to understand is that she's a breed that's bred for colder temperatures. So when maybe it's really cold outside and you really don't want to be out, she's going to want to be out and she's going to want to be playing and stuff like that. And also taking into consideration that when it's really hot, she has a thicker coat on her, so making sure that she's not going to get overheated while she's outside. One of her biggest issues is that she appears to not be housebroken. That is one of the other reasons why they brought her in. Huskies can be notoriously hard to housebreak, so you want to make sure that you're prepared to take that on. Otherwise, she's friendly, she reacts favorably to other dogs, she's easy to obtain. She could use some leash manners, which goes into that training thing. She likes to be petted. So we're just trying to find the right home for Dakota so that she's not going to end up back here at the shelter. James Bond is our next guest, and he was recently adopted, and after a few days he was returned. So he was adopted with another one of our shelter dogs here that they didn't come in together. We did our best to introduce them to each other while they were here, and it seemed like things were going okay, but then once they were in a home environment, it just wasn't working out. The dogs didn't seem to be compatible with one another. So the owners brought James back in so that we could find him another home. James is a lab mix. He's about 1.5 years old, which, like Dakota before him, basically still a puppy, an adult dog in age, but behaviorally still kind of a puppy. He loves toys. He will destroy any of these types of squeaky toys, soft toys. He really enjoys that, but he shouldn't be left unattended with those things because he could possibly swallow something and injure himself. He can also not be adopted to a home where there's livestock or small animals because he's a little too interested in those things. So we want to make sure that all the other animals are staying safe in the house. He is also Lyme positive, and he is currently being treated with doxycycline for that. And that's something that you want to make sure that you're aware of, getting him a Lyme vaccine once he's finished with that cycle of doxycycline, making sure you're keeping him on his flea and tick preventative. James has lived with children previously. It says that he loves to swim, he likes to play fetch, although catching treats in his mouth doesn't seem to be his strong suit. He basically just lets it hit him right in the face. When we behavior assess him, he does a good job at keeping his kennel clean. He's friendly and excited when you approach him, reacts favorably to other dogs. He can pull a little bit. He has a high energy level, so sometimes it can be a little much for other dogs, so you want to keep that in check. Doesn't have issues with guarding or food aggression, and he really enjoys being petted. He has a lot of great things going for him, but some training would be beneficial. As you can see, he gets into everything. He's at good height for counter surfing, so you want to make sure that you're putting the time in to train him appropriately so he knows what behaviors are acceptable. And just has, in general, good manners when he's out interacting with people and other dogs. This bow tie clad gentleman is Nacho, and he's one of our older dogs on the adoption floor. We're saying that he's 10 years old or older, so we just have him listed as 10 plus. He is, of course, a Chihuahua, and he is named Nacho. He came to us as a stray, and he is so incredibly affectionate. He adjusts really well to new environments. The most dangerous thing that he will do is lick you to death. He wants to lick everybody. He's just super affectionate, and he just wants to, cuddle and hang out. He really just needs a lap to sit on. But the things with Nacho are that he does have some health issues that you would also need to be taking on. So, when you look at his face, you notice that he does have those cataracts. So his vision is impaired. He can see a little bit, but his vision is definitely not what it used to be. And he also has a pretty severe heart murmur. So, lots of time spent outside, running around, probably not going to be the best thing for him. But fortunately for him, his favorite thing is to just basically sit on someone's lap and hang out and cuddle. If you're looking for somebody to to snuggle with during a nap, keep you warm all winter long, then Nacho is going to be a great fit. But you do want to make sure that you can also provide for his medical needs as he continues to age. We don't have any restrictions on the type of home that Nacho can go to. So whether you have kids or not, he will do well with that. The one thing is that because his vision is limited, you want to make sure that you are announcing yourself. So, you know, giving him a little heads up that you're coming up to him so that he knows to kind of look in the direction of your voice, and to make sure that any kids in the home are also going to be aware of that. Like, you have to be mindful of where he is. You can't expect that he's going to see you and move out of the way. We have behavior assessed him. Basically, he does a great job of keeping his kennel clean. He's friendly, no issues with other dogs. He's easy to walk. But again, being mindful of the fact that if you're walking him somewhere, you know, keeping an eye out in case there's something that he can't see himself. No issues with food aggression, and he just loves to be petted. So if that's what you're looking for, stop in and visit with Nacho. Because he is a senior at age 10 or up, he'll go home for a $40 reduction in his adoption fee, which would make him adoptable for a fee of just $52.50. Up next, we're going to introduce you to our smallest resident here at the shelter. This dwarf hamster is Blizzard, and she is about 2.5 years old, and she is representing the small animal room. Right now, the small animal room is filled with adoptable pets. We have, I want to say, 8-ish adoptable rabbits right now. We have about the same amount of guinea pigs. We have 2 doves, we have 3 parakeets, and then we have little Blizzard here. Blizzard is a very friendly hamster. She's used to being handled on a regular basis, and she enjoys it. She doesn't really fight it. She's perfectly comfortable kind of roaming around there with Tammy, and it's good exercise for her as well. Hamsters are adopted here for a fee of $5. Our guinea pigs are $10 a piece. The birds that we have are also $10 a piece, and then our rabbits are adopted for a fee of $50 a piece. Before you're adding any of those animals to your home, you want to make sure you're doing research so that you can provide proper care for them. They have needs that are different than what most people you know, think of as a traditional pet, the dog, the cat. They have to have different types of diet, different types of bedding. They also have to have exercise as well, so you need to make sure you're providing them with those types of items, but also doing it in a safe way, because they are much smaller and they can be kind of prey items for larger animals in our lives, for example, cats and dogs. With the small animals, they are not altered before they leave here. The only small animals that we will go ahead and get spayed or neutered are going to be our rabbits, which is why they are adopted for a higher adoption fee at that $50 mark. There are not as many small animal vets in the area, but we do have a list of vets that will take small animals like hamsters, guinea pigs, rabbits. So if you are looking for a place that you can take your small animal, you can reach out to us and we will be able to provide you with that list. We hope you enjoyed meeting some of our dogs and, of course, our resident small animal rep here, Blizzard. If you are more of a cat person, stay tuned after the break and we'll have 5 cats that we can introduce you to.
Transit services of Frederick County. With rising gas prices, transit is a less expensive way to work or school. Most commuter bus routes run every 30 minutes during weekday morning and afternoon rush hours. Bus stops are within a quarter mile of most businesses in downtown Frederick. Transit offers shuttles to Thurmont, Emmitsburg, Brunswick, Jefferson, Spring Ridge, and Route 85, or take a shuttle to the MARC train for an easy commute. Find out what nearly 1 million passengers already know. Transit connects people and places.
Welcome back. The first feline we have for you is the beautiful Kitty. She's got that great dilute Torby coloring and those amazing green eyes, and she's just as sweet as she is beautiful. Kitty was brought to us because they said she was peeing on the carpet. So we talked about this last week in our all cat show, and there's a lot of reasons why cats could be doing that. So we're going to talk about it again because it's something that continually comes up, and we want to make sure that our potential adopters understand that this could be an issue that's not the cat's fault. We don't want them to not adopt these animals because they had an issue in another home. So the first thing is we have these behavioral profiles, and we ask owners to fill them out when they're surrendering animals. And it said that Kitty was peeing in home on carpets only. She pees on carpet. And then it says, how often do you clean your litter box? 3 times a week. So a litter box is an everyday cleaning job. Cats do not want to use a dirty bathroom any more than we do. So if they don't think it's clean, then they're going to go somewhere else that is clean to them. The other issue is that Kitty, if you may or may not be able to notice, is a little bit on the heavy side. So if her litter box was too small for her, then maybe it was uncomfortable for her to go to the bathroom in it, and then that's why she was going elsewhere in the home. Your litter box has to be compatible to the size of your animal. You know, other things could be it was a covered box and she didn't like the covered box. It could be that she didn't like the litter that was in it. She didn't like where it was placed. It says it was in the laundry room. Sometimes cats don't like the buzzer noise on the dryer. It scares them, so they don't want to go in that area. And then, you know, something that I think we've ruled out here is that she could have been sick. It could be environmental stress. Sometimes when cats just aren't thriving in that environment, they do that. So once they change their environment, they stop behaving that way. One of the things that we do here at the shelter is when someone brings in an animal saying that it's having litter box issues and that's why they're surrendering, we chart that from day one when they come into the shelter. Are they using their litter box? Are they using their litter box? And we write it down every day. And if they're not, then we mark the change that we're doing to kind of track what we're trying to see what's working. And in Kitty's case, she's using her litter box. So she's out on the adoption floor looking for another forever home. If you're interested in Kitty, stop in and visit with her here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next guest is Hope, and Hope is a return to shelter. She was actually adopted from us when she was just 3 months old, and then was recently returned to us. Hope was brought in again for what is a common reason, the litter box. This one says that she was not getting along with the other cats, and so as a form of stress, she was not using the litter box. That could be true. It could be that she doesn't like other cats. It could be that she just didn't like those specific cats, or it could be something completely different. You know, when you get an animal, you're taking a chance no matter what, because you don't know how they're going to actually be in your home. And you have to be committed to them. I mean, be willing to try and fix things and have them seen by the vet. And sometimes you just have to, you know, accept them as they are. You know, a lot of people view them as property, but some people really view them as members of the family. And would you get rid of one of your children if they were having a behavioral issue in your home or a medical issue? So really think about that before you take on an animal, and make sure that you are prepared to work through whatever problems may arise during the course of that animal's life. Hope is being a little, she's feeling a little stressed in a new situation. She's a little bit calmer in her cage environment where she's used to being for the last couple of days. She feels safe there. You want to make sure that if you do have existing animals in your home, you're prepared to work with that. Other animals do not have to get along. I equate it to children. Most times, kids in the house don't always like each other, but as long as they're not hurting each other, then it's okay. The same thing with your animals. They don't have to cuddle and be best friends and play and do all of these things. They just have to be essentially in different roommates that just, you know, coexist. It says from her previous owners that Hope can be a lap cat. She's feeling a little stressed right now, so she's not really relaxing, but she's used to children. She's used to living in a home with dogs. She can be a bit shy, but she's playful, able to handle her. She's friendly. She's basically your typical cat, but she does have a little bit of a higher energy level. I know they may look similar, but I swear this is not the same cat that we had earlier on the show. This is Miss Kitty, and she is a dilute tortie, not to be confused with Kitty, who is a dilute torby. Miss Kitty is about 8 to 9 years old, and she is a beautiful, beautiful girl. She is a little bit on the heavier side as well. Could use a little bit of a diet, not anything, no extreme dieting, just a little bit of watching what she eats and a little bit more exercise. And Miss Kitty here has also been front declawed. So anyone who were to take her on and make her part of the family, it is very, very important that she stay indoor only. We only adopt out indoor cats. That's our goal. If you're going to take them outside, then they do need to be harnessed and leashed up so that they are safe and under your control. We don't want any cats to be having to deal with other predators. That includes things that, predatory birds like hawks as well. We don't want them to get hit by cars. But in the case of a declawed cat, they don't have that primary method of defense, so it's all the more important to make sure that they're staying safe inside. And that's really where Miss Kitty would prefer to be anyway. She likes to cuddle up on a lap and get lavish with attention. As soon as I picked her up today, she immediately started purring. All she wanted was cuddles, and she was perfectly content in my arms. She's perfectly content on Tammy's lap. She initially was a little apprehensive about being in a new place, but she's slowly starting to warm up and get acclimated, which is how she'll probably behave in a new home environment as well. Miss Kitty was brought to us after being owned for 2.5 years by a family because of allergy reasons. They say that she's a lap cat. She's playful, friendly, calm, things that we've seen here. She's not shown herself to be overly aggressive or anything like that. She's just a very, very sweet girl. Seniors are great because this is, what you're getting yourself into when you're adopting a senior, because their personalities are set. They tend to be more calm, as Miss Kitty is showing herself to be. And they make great, wonderful, loving companions. So if you are interested in taking Miss Kitty home, stop in and visit with her. Just as a last note on animals that are declawed or just declawing in general, we do not advocate that here. We do not want our adopters to go out and declaw their animals. It is an amputation of their, what would be on us up to our first knuckle. So we are not, we do not want to encourage any of our adopters to go out and get their animals declawed. Fitz is our next guest, and he is a handsome gray tabby. He's about 1 to 2 years old. He's still got plenty of energy left. He's a lot more curious than maybe some of the girls that we had on the show earlier. He definitely asks for attention. I walked by his cage, and he was, climbing the cage trying to get my attention. So if you're looking for a more active pet, that's going to be more playful and run around the house when you're doing the laser pointer and, maybe play fetch or whatever, then Fitz might be a better fit for you. He came to us as a stray, so we're still learning about him. And when I pulled him out of the cage, some young volunteers were like, "We just petted him. He is so sweet." So he's definitely developing a bit of a fan base here since he's come back from sick room. Most of our cats at some point will develop a cold during their stay, and he had that cold, and he's since come back out and is ready to meet potential adopters. He will be neutered before he's adopted, as will all of the cats, dogs, and rabbits that are available here. That's part of their adoption fee. For $97.50, which is our cat adoption fee, we make sure that the animals are altered. They get their microchipped. They get rabies vaccine, distemper vaccine, county license, flea and tick preventative, dewormer, and a well visit to the vet. You really can't beat what you're getting for that price. So we make sure that we take care of all of that stuff to set them up, for good veterinary history before they make it to their new homes. Because he was sent to us as a stray, you have to be mindful that maybe he might try to get out. We don't know the reason that he was out as a stray, so just being careful when you're opening doors and things of that nature so that he doesn't sneak out. When we send animals home, we do encourage you to keep them isolated for 10 days in just one room of your house. So that's a good way to see how they're going to be at the door. Are they right underfoot trying to get out? So that you can be prepared when it's no longer an interior door and an exterior door, so they don't make those escapes a possibility. If an animal does make their way out as a stray and end up here, we hold them all for 5 days to give owners a chance to come forward. After that, then we are the new owners of that animal, and we will process them for adoption, rescue, foster care, so on and so forth. But we do give owners a chance to come forward. Unfortunately, Fitz's family didn't come for him, so he's gonna hopefully find a new family very, very soon. The last guest that we have for you today is another one of our declawed cats. This is Charles. So we saw Miss Kitty today, who was declawed. We have Charles. We have a cat named Nimbus, a cat named Tinkerbell, I believe. Also all front declawed. So if that's something that you are looking for, we really encourage you to adopt a cat that is already declawed and not to go out and do that to another animal. Charles is about 2 to 3 years old, and he came to us because his owner said that she was unable to keep him inside. They say that Charles has been around children of all ages. He's calm, friendly, able to handle, he's independent. One thing that I definitely noticed is while he's quick to purr when he's getting petted, if you touch him in a space that maybe he doesn't like, he's very quick to kind of turn his head a little bit and be a little bit nippy. Because I tried to pick him up to put him in the carrier, he didn't like that, so we just turned his head a little bit. That's something that we often see in declawed cats. They have that, they're more prone to be nippy because they can't swat at you, so then they use their teeth, which is their next best thing. So just being mindful of that, especially if there are going to be small kids around him. Not that I'm not saying by any stretch that he's a dangerous cat, but if they're interacting with him in a way that he doesn't enjoy, you're not reading his body language and listening to how he's communicating with you, then he will escalate to that response. So you want to make sure you're aware of that and educate your children on cat body language and how to respect your animals in their personal space. Because he is just 2 to 3 years old, he will be adopted for our $97.50 adoption fee, and he is a domestic medium hair. He's a very handsome domestic medium hair, but he will need some more grooming, making sure that that coat doesn't get matted because it is longer and they are more prone to those types of things. If you're interested in Charles, you can stop in and visit with us here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Again, our visiting hours are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and Saturday from 10 to 4. We want to thank you guys for tuning in today. We hope that you've enjoyed meeting some of our adoptable animals. If you didn't see anything that piqued your interest, make sure that you stop into the shelter. What you've seen today is just a sampling of the many animals that are looking for new families here at Animal Control. Tune in next week and we'll introduce you to several more.